This is the main character and Lamb. He lit a stick of incense for his mother to inform my mother about the matter. Next day you will go to the best sect here to register for studying. Today is also your 18th birthday. Suddenly he heard that AI outside the door. The light suddenly flashed off. He sensed danger, so he used the RA charm to guard against it. He used his spiritual eye to see if it was a ghost. People outside Kia praised him for having innate spiritual eyes. Very well, he tried calling the police. Then that person made him put down the phone RA. Suddenly, a spirit old man appeared. He didn't want to scare you anymore, so I decided to take him to Theo, because I've been waiting for you for a long time. He took him to the boundary between humanity and the spirit world. Mr. Cho said he would take him to the spirit world to practice. He then created a red ball and put it into his body. He wanted to know more about the background. Mr. Cho thinks that is not necessary. He later knew what he just introduced to you is the God of War system. He then gave him a letter of recommendation. Help him enter the most advanced academy in the spirit world. At first, he wasn't sure he would accept, but he accepted it right away even though he didn't understand the beginning or end of it. Why is he so willing? Because there is no longer any problem with the human world. So it's the same wherever you practice. His duty was over, so let me continue on my own path forward. He also let you know, in the academy there will be quite a pretty girl, so I hope you find your destiny soon. I'm so happy. Give me one, sir. He then left. And given that, I finally sent that unlucky thing away, and Lamb felt like he had just been set up. Suddenly, a system spirit appeared, and Cho and Lamb saw that a hole had just appeared. It indicates that someone is trapped inside. So do you want to save it or not? He chose to save, and suddenly a girl flew out from inside it. She accidentally stepped on Lamb, so I apologized and reached out to help him. He just held the hand of a beautiful girl. The system gave you a suit. Cho looks a bit like a cultivator. The girl then introduced herself as Little Lan, and want to know which sect you belong to. You don't have a sect yet, but just came here. Then use this letter to enroll. Little Lan is excited because he is about to come to her class. But you don't understand. How did she know that he would come to her class? When they both walked hand in hand through the gate. Then the system has said, the liking between the two of them when they first met has reached 40%. When passing through the gate, Chulan led and Lamb first, where will be chosen to divide the class. Detail. The new students here will take turns touching the Kia rock. It will divide their powers to divide into 100 different classes. And Lamb is not the only one who received Kia's letter of recommendation, which some people have, and most of those people get into first grade. Is the top 100 class, and Lamb, not sure if you and Little Lan can practice 6 together to enter the same class, but she definitely believes that they will both be in the same class. She then advanced. Everyone knows she is a famous lady of the school. She then touched the stone and the power flared up. She was randomly selected for first grade. She then said she was waiting for him in first grade. Everyone then suddenly became jealous of Lam because you are a god. How did Little Lan get to know her? And was also recognized by her for her true strength to enter first grade. He was then called up. He tried to calm down and took the letter to Ra's door. The teacher was just watching and suddenly surprised because your letter is headed by the head, recommended by the gods. He didn't expect that old man to have such a high reputation. The teacher then looked over and announced, you will definitely create miracles in the future. He excitedly walked up and tried to put Tay on the stone. And yet, surprisingly, the teacher declared him the weakest person in history, but he still got Cho into first grade. In the opposition of many people, the system saw that he was being severely despised. I advise you to add public relations if you don't want to be caught in a basket. The fat young man stood out among the Kia group, then also tested, is equally weak and still ranked in class 100. Everyone. At this time, he was even more annoyed with Lam because he went through the back door. And now you don't know how to face Rasao and Little Lan. A young man stood up and wanted to challenge Lam. Mr. Cho said that the challenge must be agreed upon by both sides. You should ask for advice from Lam Sao. The system advises you to withdraw. And the teacher also took the opportunity to mock him. But Little Lan pulled him away. She didn't know that he had never practiced, act, and then be hated by people. She promised to protect him from now on. And now she has to take him back to the dormitory. That night, he tested the system. It showed you a few things, and the first one is learning how to communicate by thinking with systems. He then tinkered further. Then find the daily quest line. First is 10 push-ups. Seemed pretty easy, so he did it. And suddenly just finished doing push-ups. Then the system gives you an amount of power. He then tested to see how strong it was. And now he can do push-ups with one finger. But I want to go to a higher level. Then you need to do exponential push-ups from 10 pieces to 100 pieces gradually. Seems like this is taking too long. So he asked if there was any other way. Then the system advised him to go find Little Lan to ask for help. She only teaches a few introductory spells. He then left the house and went to look for Little Lan. Suddenly, someone was lurking nearby to ambush him. He hadn't gone far when that guy rushed over and wanted to skewer him, but he was able to escape. He then looked it over. I saw this guy moving quite quickly, but the realm is the same as the level he just trained. So he used the same speed to do it. This guy was confused and then Lao Ra punched him. He then revealed that he was the fat guy, was placed in class 100 Kia. He then created a talisman and aimed it at Lam. You don't know how to avoid Rasao. Then the system says you can't avoid it, should be able to face it. And at this moment, Little Lan came to help him. She handled the talisman, but right now, the fat guy actually came to your room again to challenge. Distracted by that moment, Kia rushed to target Little Lan, forcing Lam to stand and support Cho. Kia saw that he was not much harmed, so decided to run away. The fat man ran up to challenge Lam, then was chased away by Little Lan. She saw Lam collapse and thought he had a problem. but he just put it on guard. Just after one match. Just now she thanked him for being saved by him once again. But still didn't help you. But Mr. Cho thought that she had just saved him. So no need to worry. She believes he will become a strong person. So from now on, she wants to protect him. The goodwill between the two also increased by 60% from there. The next morning, Little Lan saw Lam looking tired. You couldn't sleep last night because I've only been here for 2 days and I've encountered all sorts of things. I think the teachers will investigate last night's incident. Yet the teacher congratulated him because he became the enemy of the entire sect. She will be more strict with you in the future, so try to get over it. Little Lan also saw the name of this faction's enemy. It's quite good to accept it. He then used his upgraded spirit eye to take a look. What is being discussed around? He saw that AI also became his anti and also implicates Sublan. When he entered class, he wondered if the teacher was a tree. It is known that it was only because people intentionally transformed into it. The two most famous people in class also arrived at this time. First is to paint the pattern. The beauty of the whole school has bosses who are even taller than Little Lan. And Lam checked it out. Then you can't see this person's realm. And when you remove Ra's spiritual vision, then he was fascinated by that beauty, which makes Little Lan sulk. As soon as she passed by, she glanced at Lam. And the second person is a young man who also has a letter of recommendation. Like Lam is complete. This person is a true genius. And I'm new here and already paying attention. And Lam first made him not have much sympathy. He quite hates handsome guys like the member. The type that can earn a living just by looking at their face. But he took the opportunity to flirt with Little Lan. When Cho thought she was also a pretty girl. But he didn't feel like he hated it like a member. But the young man demanded a challenge. And Lam noticed you yesterday. The teacher then said he was in retreat. So let the tree come as a representative. The whole class then sat down to practice. And Lam still doesn't know how. So Little Lan said she would teach him later. In the next lesson, his teacher is a sword. Because real people are fighting. Then the whole class sat and practiced again. So Lam sat and played again. Third period, the teacher was a fire. And Lam was now starting to get depressed and even more depressed. During fourth period, the teacher is a hammer. And on to the next period. And Lam is quite depressed. Then the teacher actually walked in. She is Noyeon and will be in charge of mortal studies, specifically learning things in the human world. And because Lam is immortal, there is nothing he doesn't know. Just ask him. She gave each person a new phone. Let them play on their own. Details. And Lam was bored and even more bored because he studied at noon. Everyone started to learn about things on their bodies. Some people surf the shop to shop, others play. People do research. People watch movies. And Lam stood up and asked what was the purpose of learning this. Ms. Cho said that Nana had physical education class on Kia. This class should be lucky to play. Then in the next lesson is the teacher. Mr. Cho knows this lesson. They will have to sleep and enter the dreamscape. Then when you wake up, write down everything in your dream RA. Because Lam has not yet reached the realm to enter the dream realm. So I will break the rules and help you enter. And tell him it's time to wake up. You will encounter a disaster. He then took a nap and woke up to be inside. Next lesson next. Miss Noyeon will teach magic this time. She called up the member. And Sublan said they will have to form groups to fight other groups. And the member was chosen as class president. The teacher called in Lam to have a match with Veen Ton. Little Lan, zero love because the gap between you and the member is too big. But he didn't want to involve Little Lan, so he kept walking forward and was stopped by her. She herself rushed up to fight her member. Throwing a fire punch, he rushed forward and was stopped by a bullet. She then runs around to fight. We're all blocked by the castle. Without moving, due to lack of sugar, Little Lan turns into a fire phoenix. Rushing forward, the citadel set up a spiritual formation to block him. And Lam stood outside and watched with his spirit eye, then discovered a hole in the spiritual formation. As soon as Little Lan was exhausted, she was immediately pushed back by the castle. He cast spells to attack in response. Then Lam rushed up to help. He used the new magic he learned last night to block the attack, and then decided to fight for Little Lan. He threw a straight blow at the castle. Then he dodged and then locked him, just as he delivered the next blow to Lam. Then he broke the chain himself, because of your recent attack. Actually, it was aimed at the hole in the spiritual formation. If you break it, you will then break through to a new realm, and was caught by Little Lan. Now the mission is for you to advance, is to absorb nearly 100 spirit stones. The members worshipped, because Lam can defeat himself. The teacher was then called by an elder to attend to something. So Ms. Cho dismissed the entire class immediately. The member came to see both of them and wanted both of them to have trouble in the future. If you have difficulty practicing, just come find him. So, and Lam asked him to help him with 100 spirit stones. But the spirit stone here is money. So asking for money like this is a bit strange. But he gave you a ring, worth up to 5,000 spirit stones. He saw in Lam, because you also seem to be interested in the military. Like him, you often just come to the forum to take a look. So I know a little bit. The two exchanged information with each other and realized that both sides were acquaintances who resigned. On the forum, he made an appointment with you. Later, when we have a chance, we meet to watch a movie together. Makes you and your partner become new. Build good relationships. Up to 60%. Su Van then came to see him and indicate that you are interested in the human world. So sometimes I will come to see you to ask for information. Went home that night and Lam dreamed about it. System request. You have to get top 50 in the upcoming competition. Otherwise, she will turn into a girl for a year. He dreamed about himself being turned into a woman. And then his body was taken over by his female self. But suddenly woke up. He then prepared prepared enough spirit stones. Should break through more scenes. Just give it a try. Then his punching speed is now like Luffy's. He previewed the scale of the upcoming competition. There is a map and the number of participants will be 50,000. But you're ranking right now, based on a strength of only 29,000. So getting into the top 50 is a difficult problem to solve. In just 1 month, the competition will take place. So unless it's a hack, maybe RA can practice in time. The system advised him to get used to the female gender. Gradually, not to mention the number of haters is increasing. The next day, he gradually accepted it, that you will turn into a woman. So I asked little Lan, what did she see? If there is a sister, she felt fine. So he asked what if he were a woman. Then she suddenly changed color, made him worry that he was seen as a pervert. He found himself gradually accepting the outcome, instead of maintaining the dignity of a boy, and face challenges. He then went to look for the castle again, and ask similar questions, but was able to stop early, before he saw him as a weirdo. 3 friends then had to meet each other, because they all realized that RA and Lam must have mental problems. Something about you. Then go find BA. BA seems to be hiding it. You've been hiding something and now it's gone. When you no longer have the face to meet AI, that's it now. He decided to face the challenge to the end, and want the system to bring everything possible out here. The system tried to hypnotize. Let's see how strong your determination is. Just as he was about to give up, he got up. The system gives you 2 missions. First, you must win against someone of a higher level. Sublan, and the second is to drink an essential medicine. Is possible up to the top 4,000. The next day, he went to meet little Lan and asked her what level she was now. Her after the fight with the black shirt guy Kia. Then went from level 9 to level 10. He felt that he still met the conditions, so he wanted to ask her. She asked again if it was a sister incident or something. He is now a man again. She complimented him a few times, but he didn't dare accept it, because he is only someone who has the support of noble people. You later. I see that little Lan takes you seriously. I don't have the heart to ask my maid to help. He intentionally lost to him, so he only asked her to help him find the essence. He came to ask the member about the matter. If you lose on purpose, Mr. Cho thinks you have talent. Don't take such shortcuts. But before now, you've always taken shortcuts. He then tried to find little Lan again to ask for help, but she now told him that it was an essence, was found by her. He couldn't bear to defeat her, so I just asked her to help me find information about my opponents. He then went to pray for the wish to be fulfilled. He listens to work. As long as you lose, you can break through your realm. You should accept revealing your own weaknesses. But Mr. Cho thinks this favor is too great. You don't receive it, so I think it's better to go talk to little Lan. He then went to see her and decided to definitely tell RA. But in this situation, little Lan thought he was about to confess his love. And then when he said RA, he wanted to sneak attack her. Are you to blame? She thought he was still shy about telling RA directly, so I decided to agree to help him. And Lam came again to find Tonton to ask him for a few tricks. I showed you the trick to tie someone up. So the next day, he came to see little Lan again, and asked her if she was ready for him to sneak attack her. She still only thought that the sneak attack was a confession. So stand out and wait. I'll be happy to give you the things you gave me. Ask her to prepare. He tied up Chulan and planned to fight Lao for real. Unexpectedly, she burst into tears, made him stop and accidentally squeezed the dumpling. Chulan got angry and left, and threw the bag in his face. He then came crying to the member, and Mr. Cho thinks he should leave her for a while. He came home last night and started researching his opponent. The person he read about first was someone quite strong, and the best way for you is to run, or ask 3 friends to help. She left a note. Maybe he should let her protect him. In the upcoming exam is better. But suddenly he felt a stomach ache because he had just eaten the elixir. The system wants you to purify your body by going to the toilet. You have to go outside for 30 consecutive days, while the exam is 10 days away. So the best way is to participate while enduring the pain. Let it finish and continue to discharge. Chulan is still angry at Lam, and I don't know if you'll come to apologize or not. She then went to bed, and the next morning, Lam is still having to let go and doesn't know when it will be finished. Little Lan hasn't studied yet and is waiting for Lam. Little Lan was in class when she saw that Lam didn't come. Everyone is rumored, and Lam was afraid, so he ran away. He is still exhausted to the point of exhaustion. Reputation continues to decline due to truancy. The officer came to find him to ask him, what's wrong with not going to class? He didn't dare say he had to discharge his waste, so the officer thought he was hiding from Chulan. So I want to go with you. Sorry, but you're having trouble. The officer suspected that he had a demonic mind, so he wanted to help. He gave a cleansing reading to help you. Coincidentally, this article shortens the discharge time, but this method causes him a lot of pain, so he asked the pill to come once a day, but he decided to sit back and continue reading until you get out. Fast forward to Lam's discharge period. Then you are 15% of the way there. After just a while, listening to the cleansing pill drying poetry. 2 girls then came, and I don't know why the trees around here are so luxuriant. Devan wanted to go in and see, but little Lan still sulked and didn't go. The stick then continued to dry the leaves, and makes Lam's progress now only 8 hours, until the day of the exam. Then you still have to hold back those 8 hours. But you can't come see him yet. Little Lan right now. Suddenly a guy from the dog clan came and wrapped around him. It said it was interested in your waist, and you can know your level through it. The dog race has the habit of hiding in the bones of the strong, so he wants you to keep it for the competition and then release it. Elder, then come before the new students to begin the opening ceremony. He later said, he will cover them in a layer of armor. AI whose armor is destroyed will be eliminated from the game. This armor will not block all damage for them, so it only depends on their level. The second is that AI can defeat more. You will get more points for ranking. The teacher then teleported everyone into the arena. As soon as he entered the citadel, he encountered quite a person. Everyone is teleported to a group. As for Lam, he encountered the fat guy Kia. This young man knows he is stronger now, so I don't want to touch you. I don't want to waste time when completing it. Should do one move to clear the whole area. A few of the guys aimed at Su Van were also wiped out by her. As for Lam, his aura is too scary, so the fat guy also wanted him to ignore it, but this young man did not. If you want to be humiliated, stand up and fight. He gently bent his sword and asked the young man if he had any paper. The young man was not there, so he had to turn away. The guy wants to hunt and Lam came to find the fat young man, to ask in Lam Dong's location at the same time. Ask this young man to find some weak people, or go into hiding and lead to him. Little Lan now located in Lam, but I still don't want to go look for him because I'm waiting for him to take the initiative first. After a long time, he went looking for a place to rest. There were only 5 minutes left, but he was found by a young man. He asked this young man to wait for him for 5 minutes, but 4 other guys came. These 4 guys are all jealous of him being in the common position and be their idol. Keep an eye on. The young man from Kia only hunted him for the reward, so get the hell out first. He decided to make these 4 guys fight a civil war by assuming whoever is the strongest will get you and the prize money. So the 4 guys turned out and started fighting. He took the opportunity to let go and succeeded. Learned a new powerful move. He threw his fist and punched all 4 men away, and they all meet the requirements for you to level up. His combat power level has increased quite a bit, and duty hours. Your goal is to get to the top of the obsidian and punch 10 guys, like just now. Suddenly the fat young man just came to him. The young man told him to go to Theo and led him to where the weaker people were hiding. They then told him, hit them just enough to break their armor and get them out of this war without injury, because they all noticed he is strong and in the high class, but he doesn't bully people in lower classes as others, so you're no longer polite anymore. Give everyone a punch. Quickly, everyone outside saw it and everyone said he was cheating, but this is something people are allowed to hear, and Lam did not force you. After that, I reached the pretty top. Suddenly, the system warns you that a dangerous person is coming. That guy is quite brilliant, and immediately Lao came to attack him, but this person immediately received a blow to the temple. Defeat San and get out of the game. This person, according to the information that little Lan Cho knew, the name is Lu Tian, top 2 years ago, and is the person nicknamed the #1 Godslayer. She had heard about An Lam and came to find him, just to invite you to play Chung. She wears her cosplay, an alliance general. That's why she met you, was to invite him to play a game of League, but then suddenly forgot about it, so she wanted to be sure. Are you the person she's looking for? She then wanted to ask him 100 questions, to see if he agrees with her. Then he naturally said something that made her like it, but reduced to 50 sentences. He then knew which character the words she said belonged to. Should be further reduced. If there are 20 unanswered questions, Ms. Cho will take the lead. The two then sat down to ask each other about things in the human world and favorite character, and soon become good friends. But in the next sentence she asked, between Tulan and Tavan, AI is more beautiful. Objectively speaking, he chose Su Van. She asked why he didn't choose Tulan, even though she is your girlfriend. Mr. Cho said that the accident caused him and Little Lan to be separated. This time, she could then see if RA was lying or not. It's better to ask between you and Little Lan AI. You still have to say she's better. So she asked him if he was afraid of her, so he said that. Then what do you do for yourself? To lie to RA in return. She then asked the last question that he wanted to return. Become immortal with many friends or immortals. With loneliness. He was thinking about the friends he had. And choose to become immortal. Strengthen your friends around you. His answer passed Lu Tian's eyes, so she accepted to let him come over. But now she wants him to play games with her. At the end of 3 exam days, the system will let you know. If you play now, you won't get into the top 50. But his immediate task is to reach the top of the Black Wind. So he had to persuade her to take him up there. Meanwhile, Little Lan saw him going up to the sky. Then suddenly met the young dog man again. That young man let her know that An Lam is busy discharging waste. All this time, it wants to come and protect An Lam soon, because you can't resist now. Little AI was just having fun again when a guy came and attacked them both. And An Lam just went to the top of the mountain with Lu Tian to play. Then you have started the leveling process. You must absorb the mountain's earth energy in 1 day to level up. Suddenly, he discovered a young man here. The young man said he was waiting for someone and didn't expect it to be you. The young man doesn't want to cause trouble, so he will leave immediately. This young man said his name is Tran. He then asked Willow Tien, whose name was AI. She doesn't even know what happened. Does the teacher know? Tran is a recommended student, but do not focus much on cultivation. But no one knows how far this young man's practice is. But they should still pay attention to An Lam, because outstanding figures are nominated by God. They all came and became friends with An Lam in a strange way. Meanwhile, Little Lan recognized RA. This guy is the guy who disguised himself as the fat guy and went to secretly attack An Lam. That night, this young man did not like it. The matter of an anonymous person like An Lam can be promoted, but Little Lan thinks that Immortal has ambition. Try nothing wrong. She then let the dog leap up and herself followed, but Kia still blocked it. Suddenly, flares shot up, and he decided to let her go, but he already had a plan. As for Lam, he spent the whole night playing games with Lu Tien. She kept losing, so I was so bitter that I took the computer and recoded the game to win. He came back and equalized. He admitted that her programming skills were quite good. Should advise her. Later go and open a company. She will definitely open it and invite you to be the manager. The two made a promise to each other, and the absorption with An Lam is almost finished. The system now wants you to sneak attack Willow Tien, but he hesitated. She was very happy about last night, because she had her first friend. She never had a family before, because her family only sees her as a tool, so he proposed to renovate it, all to create development. But she thought he was lying. because she could see his aura. Absorbing the night was different from when he first met her. You said you practice yourself. So the system stopped absorbing it so he could tell the truth. Reason to practice. He said he used it to secretly attack her. Made her think that the two of them were no longer friends. Thank you for last night and planned to let you go. One body equal to the ultimate rainbow. But he finished practicing the move and asked why. She refused to believe his explanation. She had to stop. And right now, system again think you can sneak attack Willow Tien. So start throwing tricks yourself. She blocked it and drew Ra's sword to fight back. To make him stop. When she questioned him, he thought it was an accident. Looking at Ra, he was telling the truth. Then she stopped Tay and asked him how he could. Just played the game. Just practiced. Uncle, I have to admit that I have a hacking system. Practice. So she teased him because he hacked himself. But just now, she dared to mock her for recoding the game. She wanted him to try telling some lie. Then he gave Kia Ra the divine elixir. And she didn't think. Stop eating. As you said, even though I know it's a lie. She then started having stomach pains. So the system showed Lam how to use the newly learned magic. To relieve stomach pain, he treated her and even gave her a box of tissues, just in case she knew Lam was about to leave. So I gave him the hairpin, and Cho said it would help him, and forced him to wear it. She asked again about him wanting to form an association with her. Is it real or not? When seeing the answer with spiritual energy, then she can rest assured. And thanks to that, the goodwill between the two has reached 80%. System. Cho then said his rank was now up to 7,800, and the top ranking rate is 90%. But suddenly right after that, he was unlucky to meet the first rank of the entire faction. Vong Huin he came to find young man Tran Tran Kia. Because Tran Tran avoided him every time, he forced Tran Tran to show up, or he will lose all his livelihood. This time, and Lam didn't care and went to look for little Lon first, because she is in danger. Young dog named Dai Bok and Tu Lon are suffering at the moment. Group of the pseudo-cat Kia. Although the small land council is in a losing position, but she still boldly declared, he will never be as strong as Lam. And at the right moment of danger, Lam came. The Wei Sanside is overwhelming in numbers. Consider that Vong Huin descends, executed hundreds to thousands of people at the same time. Tran Tran is sitting in a corner and is not harmed by lightning strikes. He didn't want to get involved, but it seems like it's impossible to show up now. And Lam's group is still alive, thanks to the shield with the hair of the heavenly willow created by Ra. Little Lan wondered. Then Lam Cho said he was given it by his sister, and AI made it a talisman to protect him. Later, heard about the puppet Kia's group attacking the Ra family. This is so bad. Go ahead and give each guy a punch. And the name Daibok. Then he asked him and wanted to know why. Did he sneak attack you before? Then he didn't care and Cho just punched him. And Lam now has the opportunity to apologize to Little Lan. But the king is over there, was about to turn the whole forest upside down to find Tran. Elder Tran still did not want to intervene, and forced Tavan and Vintan to appear. The citadel tied up King Huin. Let Tavan deal with it temporarily. He then asked everyone still down there, pointing to the sky, and lend me your strength to defeat Vong Huin. But Vong Huin threatened otherwise, causing everyone to stop and then break the chain to escape. He then rushed to Bol, and wanted to ask her out after this trip, but she refused, because I hate guys like Vong Huin. She then herself, let the spear hit you and leave the competition first. Still finished. Then you have to set up a pile of spiritual formations to block the attack. But a merchant. Vong Huin's dragon destroyed everything and Cho completed the city. There are only Lam and Tian Willow groups left in the pond. Are the most prominent ingredients. Remain. Was stopped by Tran Tran for help. Tran Tran hopes he will learn this move, and then left again, and Lam. Then the system told me there were only 4 people left. 1 dog stays in this fight, so the opportunity for Lam to reach the top of the fighting force is almost over. The only way for him to escape his life as a girl is to defeat the king. He knew there was no other way, so he turned Ra and punched Little Lan. Let her get out of the fight first. As for himself, he called Vong Huin down to fight. Mr. Exine bowed his head to challenge Vong Huin. Made him regret that Tran Tran ran away again. Lam's security warning system. This fight can be life-threatening, so you can give up. Great White. If you want to stand up and fight with him, he will always give you Cho Ra. He was then struck down by Wang Xian's lightning dragon. If you use your power, then you will be destroyed. At the moment of life and death, the system relied on memory, which helped him learn Tran Tran's most positive instructions. So with just 1 move, and Lam had just broken Vong Huin's trick, and even caused the surveillance camera to fail in an instant. But everyone saw a pillar of light shining up, and Vong Huin was eliminated, and Lam is in Kia. And elders, at this time, told the teachers to put Cho and Lam on the list. 3 students will go to the human world on their upcoming trip. After the competition, and Lam was in a coma for 10 days. But most importantly, and Lam from a guy entered through the door, later became the strongest person in the entire sect. When defeating King Xian, he received countless game hacks from the Cho system, and then a new mission. 1 month later, the elder officially announced the matter. We'll let 3 mortal students in. Today the goal is to chase the Demon King, Camouflage Sand, who won a spot this year, but because of the recent incident he was eliminated. Last night he bitterly went to see Vong Huin, because his father is a man of authority, and asked for a place for him. But now that he was eliminated, father did not say it himself, but I had to ask Vong Huin to deliver the message for me. When he raised his voice to Vong Huin, Cho reminded him, AI is the stronger one here. Maybe his family has power, but here strength is what counts. That's in Lam. Member and Little Lan are the 3 chosen people. Go this time. The elder then appointed An Lam as captain and asked him to speak in words. He asked Daibak to bring up a roll of paper and Cho said, "You will soon descend to Earth. So what does AI want to order from Kia? Then come to your room tomorrow morning to register and pay. Before, you won't take a single word, because the purpose this time is just to make friends with everyone." Everyone responded simultaneously, because not many AIs have the opportunity to go to the human world to buy things. Tian Willow then also came and Cho said, she will join An Lam to open a gaming club. Anyone who is interested can come and register tomorrow. If you buy something, sign up for the club. The other side doesn't discriminate against AI's class. Just look at the little law. Then realized that Ra's hairpin had protected An Lam before, is from the Willows, and the teacher now asked the elder about the matter. Where is teacher Kia? My teacher went to tell An Lam a hexagram, but I haven't seen it yet. It seems like the hexagram is not good. After the end of the ceremony, see everyone. AI also began to sympathize with An Lam. Wei Cat was very bitter. The only thing that helped him feel less depressed was what happened that night. Before leaving, Vong Huin told him about An Lam. This time back to the mortal world. Surely there will be some good and some bad. However, he is still bitter, because it was no longer the center of attention. System then suddenly gave a new special move to An Lam. Moves that can make people cry, because you made your enemies cry. Tian Willow patted An Lam's shoulder and assured him, both will definitely be rich. After completing this mission, the member saw that Little Lan was growing horns, then decided to leave there quickly, before it gets big. Little Lan suddenly saw a willow, gave Cho and Lam a ring, and told him to always wear it. Do not remove and then leave. The teacher suddenly appeared, and An Lam remembers Ra to be, this teacher always reveals painful memories to you, so I decided to run quickly, so he doesn't have time to curse you again. After he ran away, then Little Lan was surprised, came before the teacher to ask what he was about to say to An Lam. Made my teacher quite surprised. Tian Willow is now standing in front of the door, teleported to the mortal world with 3 other people, and she asked An Lam to buy it for herself. A child of graphics, best goods, let her play games. And Lam told her to rest assured, because he will go straight to the dealer to buy it for her. Chu Lan still felt uneasy in her heart, because that day the teacher told her that An Lam will encounter many unpredictable and deadly dangers. Looking forward to your upcoming journey, and all your efforts will go down the drain. She saw the image of a creature wrapped around, and was about to swallow An Lam. He suddenly asked Little Lan if there was SAO, forcing her to answer that it was nothing. The castle member has begun to open the gate, teleported to the mortal world. Suddenly a series of pink arms appeared, and reached down to catch An Lam. Little Lan immediately clung on, and Lam and others also quickly ran over, intended to help, but the member said he would take care of it, then disappeared into the portal. Little Lan now tried to wake Lam up, but she was tied up by the hands, then lost consciousness. The system then had to try to wake An Lam up by electrocuting you. One day An Lam woke up and was startled. When you find yourself in free fall, he caught Little Lan and hugged her tightly. Life notification system of, he is in danger, and starts counting down from 10. While An Lam fell freely like a meteorite, he decided to launch his move. A flower below is happily flying into the sky. When you just practice and become an immortal, then he suddenly passed by, then absorbs it before plummeting to the ground. After the shock, Little Lan also woke up. The pellet also landed at this time, and rushed to see if my 2 younger siblings were okay. He immediately treated Cho and Lam, and An Lam, then I want him to poke his behind with his finger. Once again, Little Lan was angry, because you seem to want to do some perverted things with any AI. Suddenly An Lam heard crying, so he tried to take a look at Ra's mirror, then saw the flower from earlier crying on his head. However, it disappeared when a large ship appeared, and the girl stood on the roof of the train. Introduce yourself as Lin Lin. She ordered them to board the ship once they entered the base, and Lam immediately confessed. He is the captain of the group of messengers sent down. This time Lin Lin laughed in his face, and don't believe in useless things. Even weak people like you can do it. The captain heard these words made Cho Chulan feel itchy, so she pulled out her sword and asked Lin Lin, if not already welcome, why invite them here? But no spirit is invited, but command them to come. Then called them helpless insects. Little Lan uses fire magic to prepare to attack, and the spirit is also ready to respond with his weapons. But before things really get heated, the system has protected Lam. Please use your divine power to calm the 2 of you. The 2 girls were about to rush into each other, then suddenly stopped midway, because the member has opened his mouth. He praised both girls for being very charismatic, then asked for Lin Lin's phone number, causing her to shyly nod. He turned to tell Little Lan, don't risk your life just because of this small misunderstanding. Lin Lin is also the same, which fell before his maturity. Suddenly the base began to shake violently, and spiritual spirit given that what happened here was their fault. 1 week before returning to the mortal world, the system asked An Lam that, are you excited to go home? Mr. Cho said he felt a bit scared. However, you will. Little Lan that tries to overcome. System afterwards, promise me that I will always support you at any time, and help him in times of danger, as long as you don't lose yourself. After saying that, it brought his soul back to his body. System spirits, I hope you will soon find your original self again. It is ready to change the world for you. Return to reality. All 3 were led into the base's headquarters. Lin Lin introduced his commander to them. She introduced herself, is the captain of the Ming Council, Vu En's name, and Lam realized that this was his crush back in the mortal world. Before being taken to the spirit world, he sheepishly scratched his head, but it's just Little Lan's fault that she has horns on her head. Little Lan knows Vu En is very good at attacking the soul, and Lam also affirmed that it was correct. Vu En took your soul away a long time ago, and Lam refused to pay attention. Listen to whatever Little Lan says. Vu En informed them the reason. All three were called here is to carry out the task of eliminating demonic sects. However, Kwok here criticized them for being weak and was called here to send back to the spirit world. Return to the opened portal RA. Vuan asked them to send a message to heaven that from now on, cultivators should not set foot in the mortal world anymore. She just finished saying this. Then, the system warns that an enemy in the high realm has appeared. And Lam, please let my group help. But Kwok sent BA back. Even attacked BA. The member quickly used the formation, protect the whole group. He challenged Kia to fight against his group, and if you lose, then they were forced to let his group stay to support. The member finished speaking. The system advised Lam again, should change pellets to combat. You can pretend you're weak. Then deceive your opponent. Then rise up and sneak attack once to defeat them all. He went through all the great moves he had, then agreed to accept the challenge on behalf of Cho member. Right when he was about to fight with Dr. Kwok, Tang Ling suddenly intervened and said she would be his rival, then kicked him away. After that, she continued to attack quickly, giving him no chance to turn Tay. Luckily, he finally caught Lin's hand. She then kicked him away again and threw a punch, causing the ground around and Lam to explode. After maintaining balance, and Lam started activating new skills, Lin just rushed to punch him. Then, the magic power from the punch was instantly swallowed up. She immediately turned around, go back later and use your ultimate technique, then launched it towards Lam. However, Lam's moves again absorbed all attacks. With the large amount of magic power he had just absorbed, and Lam is in marathon running position. He rushed straight to Kwok's place with punching moves when he was about to counterattack, and Lam used a psychological trick to make him remember painful memories. When his wife was bulldozed by a truck, AICAI is now. When Lam was about to punch him, then Vuan flew to block Lam's punch, then told him to calm down. Lam's hand was shaken by an idol. She now had to admit that she was very surprised because of Lam's power. Ms. RA conditions, if he could withstand her soul attack, then she will allow your group to help them. And Lam wishes she could. Can you be a little gentle in Tay? Because no matter how, he has been her biggest fan for 15 years now. The king assured him if he succeeded, then she will let Lam enjoy the entire package. Civilians' fans are fine too. She later used a soul attack on Lam. While Lam was still overwhelmed by magic power, then Lin rushed forward to attack, and unfortunately also suffered a soul attack from King In. He was forced to hug. Lin was now unconscious and hesitated for a moment, but finally, he still decided to use the ultimate technique, his mighty magic. Everyone then saw him fly down from the air in bright golden light. The system explained to him that when using divine power in the mortal world, then you will be able to achieve everything you desire. Kwok had to ask, Luvi treated you poorly before. Vuan also accepted defeat and admired him for defeating her, and Lam asked about the Showbiz fan case. Then she told him to just say Ra's request, and Lam scratched his head and said, what I want her to do might be too much, but Vuan told her to accept anything, because she loves to pamper fans. Little Lan is too much. I'm just helpless because of this amorous HOA crush. Kwok smiled happily and told him to take care of everything, then pulled his spirit daughter, going with future husband Lai, then pushed two people at the same time into the teleportation gate. Notification system, and Lam has unlocked 2 new achievements, and the reward for achievement is magic, a great skill that helps Lam see through everything in the world. Ang Lam and Lin was then taken to the area of the demon religion. She reminded that it was their duty, just going to scout the surrounding situation and count the number of enemies in advance. But Lam suddenly saw a suspicious mist is rushing towards them. Lin immediately used magic, then take the phone, scan it and send a danger signal back to Cho base. Receive signal. Tulan was worried and asked them to let her go help Lam, but Kwok told her to go to Theo. It only gets in the way of your feet and hands. Little Lan remembered what the teacher said. I feel more worried, and begged them to let Ms. Ra fight with Lam. Inside the thick toxic mist, a group of people wearing hoods is moving towards Lam. Lin immediately felt it. Feeling bad, I wanted to drag Lam away, but he still sat there dumbfounded. And Lam used magic to clearly observe those inside. And Lam's mist created a barrier. Prevent the fog from spreading here, because I know the people in Kia. There won't be any suspicion if you go in. So, and Lam decided to try going inside to check the situation. Lin also planned to join in. And Lam came back and carried Theo. She ran as fast as she could. He said all 4 of them had reached the upper level. Lin immediately asked him what to do now. Then I heard the Kia people crying inside. Lam Cho said he used a secret technique to make them cry. Just escaped. Just now when the crowd approached him. Then their incense suddenly went out. That's why I'm sorry for blowing out the incense. But one of them summoned wings. Then flew up before they could meet the Lam Council. Then he used magic to make them cry violently on the spot. Then slipped away inside the base. Vuan refused to let Tulan and Veen Tan follow. Support Lam and send 2 experts. But little Lan still insisted on being rescued. The soldier's crush started to find her annoying. So I told an expert to attack her too. He just flew in to attack. Then little Lan created a boring barrier. Saw her struggling. So I asked her honestly, because why do you want to help Lam so much? She told the member, and Lam's life is definitely in danger. And please believe me, After hearing this, immediately used magic power to repel the two Kia people, and he promised that he would repay the crime with his head if this mission is 7 failed. Then jump into the portal. As soon as he left, the system alarmed again. A girl with black wings has captured the entire battlefield on the other side. King and immediately sent all reinforcements there, after knowing that it was a member of the Black Martial clan. But a person was just about to enter the teleportation portal. To provide aid, he was immediately frozen in place. Everyone used up all their magic power to hit the portal, but there is no harm to its magic power. Suddenly, a demonic arm tore apart this dimension and create another portal. Black smoke filled the room. And from the portal, a girl with a pair, the black wing, walked in and was relieved because she already has 7 sacrifices. She immediately blew everything away in smoke. So now she just needs to find 3 more tributes. On the other side, the demon cultists were still in chaos, flying, crying, bombing down. Chulon and Vintan reunited with Enlam, and Enlam immediately asked Little Lan because Deso knew he was in danger and came to save her. Before you could answer him, Lin Lin on the other side has received notice that the signal at the base has disappeared. Everyone's eyes turned to Enlam. See next, what should I do next? But he no longer cared. Don't worry about the battlefield anymore, because now you can no longer have showbiz fan privileges. Suddenly, Enlam heard the noise and told everyone to be quiet. As soon as he turned his head, he was kicked in the face. Then he was pulled up into the sky by the black feathered woman, then used magic power to attack directly in the head. Then she dropped him. Let 2 accomplices use ultrasonic waves to attack. Lam was unconscious because he was suddenly attacked. Meanwhile, the member below was chanting a spell and used a chain to tie up the black-feathered girl Kia, then used the sword to slash. To deal with both of Kia's accomplices, they began to rush in to attack the citadel. While a lamb was falling freely from the air, Little Lan ran quickly towards Enlam, then jumped up to help him mid-air. But she discovered Ra, one of the 4 Dark Feather clan names, is smiling, then summoned a lightning bolt onto Enlam's body. Enlam's body fell and lay motionless on the ground. Lin Lin was angry and wanted to rush to kill Kia, but he used lightning to strike her before she could get close. He started laughing at Lin Lin for being a chicken. Then the ball suddenly landed right on top of him, then used the sword to stab down once. Little Lan intended to run to save Enlam. Then the black-feathered woman flew down to the end of the ultrasound waves, towards Miss Lan standing and looking at her, picked up Enlam's body and prepared to bite his neck. Enlam now activates divine power, causing her to lose her will and create an opportunity for Little Lan to stab you with a sword. The whole group right now don't know whether Enlam has encountered anything serious or not. Before Chao could walk towards them, a portal teleported, appeared again in space. 2 arms sprouted out and grabbed Enlam's head, then pulled him inside. Separate you from Little Lan. Elsewhere, Kia, the black feather girl, summoning a giant ball of darkness, then spoke to her god that everything has been prepared. Enlam is now located in the center of the sphere. The war god system tried to wake Enlam up, but it doesn't work, so it had to create lightning and burned his face to wake Enlam up. Security system, it will give you a chance to use the hack command again. Enlam nodded repeatedly in agreement, so he told Lam to stay safe. Please hold up the ring given to you by heaven, then called transformation. The original sentence is actually longer, and Lam thinks this sentence sounds quite cheesy, but now I'm at a dead end. You should throw away the shame and follow. And suddenly the hand of the willow appeared. At the same time, Little Lan fell down while trying to rush to catch Enlam, but not in time. The black-haired girl Kia has flown in, decided to take the opportunity to bite Chulon. Then the castle used all its speed to fly towards it, to push her away. The remaining 2 people also came to attack Little Lan, but she was too late. He can no longer react to deal with them. Her eyes were now focused only on the portal. About to close, she used all her magic power to be able to bring Enlam back. At the same time, a series of purple rays of light escaped from the sphere and caused it to explode right above the black-feathered girl's head. This explosion causes the portal to widen and help Little Lan have a chance to enter. Just walked through here. Then she saw an image of a girl hugging Enlam fly down from the air. Little Lan noticed clearly. That's Tian Lu hugging Enlam. He wanted to try pinching one, see if it is a real willow or not. Then she said later, she will let Enlam pinch the softer spot. The willow tree then immediately disappeared. Her in just a few seconds defeated Kia's group of black-armed people, nail them to a block of ice, then bring everyone besides Kia here, and still had time to fly to help Enlam before he fell to the ground. The black-armed girl named Kia introduced herself as Dark Knight, and she asked Tian Lu where she was looking. She teleported hand to her forehead and decided to punish the willow. Made the HOA flower become a fairy. Kia appeared just in time and shouted that, "You guys can't give him a peaceful day or something." It released a flame that pushed Dark Knight's hand back. She was mumbling. Tian Willow asked him where he was looking, then cut off one of her wings and rushed back. She found these people quite strong, so I decided I couldn't let them go. She summons a nail and stabbed himself in the forehead to use forbidden magic. Neck. The surroundings began to glow and she called out the divine weapon Ra. In Legendary, the nail then crashed into the ground and the evil sword emerged from the ground. Dark Knight held the evil sword and walked towards the group, forcing the group to draw Ra's swords, but they could feel fear in their swords. The system informed Enlam that this thing can change the laws of the universe and destroy the whole system that you have. The nail came, crashed into Tay Enlam, and then teleported him to the dungeon. She used the tip of her sword to stab his hand and causes a strange curse to gradually erode Enlam. Seeing this, the group of friends decided to run to save Enlam, but was blocked by a magnetic field. Cannot move further. She summoned Ra, her third sacred weapon. It emits energy waves and creates a barrier. Cover it all up. She then collapsed. after using too much magic power. She said that this great formation would destroy the entire universe, and her mission will also be fulfilled accordingly. I don't know who thought up the plot. Nonsense, because it makes no sense at all. She said that God had spoken. She had to kill everything, which cannot exist in this world. A system message appeared in front of Lam, asked him if he wanted to trade 1/5 of his life to gain ultimate power or not. You accepted, but suddenly there is. But a spirit refused to help him. His eyes were now swallowed whole by the curse, and Lam woke up in a sea of blood and wonder where I've been. The system reports that this place is my river of energy. Suddenly the evil sword started using chains to tie him up, turning system, and erase it from the earth. The pain of separation immediately tormented Lam's body, but the spirit escaped from inside and fell down. Small Lan outside, wondering which god Lam had angered, then caused this incident. But then she fell into a coma like the rest. The spirit told Lam not to come close to her, otherwise we will face great destruction. A lightning strike nearly destroyed her. She shed tears and revealed to Lam that she comes from another time period, where he no longer exists. Her name is Tina and she is in the distant future. A great kulpa of heaven will descend and ended Lam's life, so she used all her strength to turn back time, to change destiny. All this time she has been trying to save his life. And before that, Fairy Kia had previously wondered, is he worthy of letting Tina do that? But then he laughed loudly and flew away. All this time, she is always by his side, but she did not belong to this world. So when she changed her destiny by pressing the decline button, this world would no longer let her exist. Memories of her began to disappear in Lam's mind. And Lam's head was about to explode when Tina tried. Try to bring your energy to Cho and Lam to help him save his friends. But Lam cannot accept the separation, so he rushed to hug her and told her not to go. And Lam finally woke up and saw Tina in front of me. But the great calamity has not stopped yet. She said the next attack will enter right at sunrise. She asked him why he had to try to save her life. Then Lam said he couldn't watch her die after sacrificing so much for you. But Tina didn't have much time left. She wanted to say that Ra devoted herself to Lam, but she thought there are no words in this world can describe the feelings she has for him. Miss, please go find and make yourself your spirit. Once again, he immediately accepted after expressing all his feelings. She told Lam to transform, so he shouted and knocked away all the spirit that was piercing him. His friends had also woken up, and this time, the divine weapons were under Lam's control. He used magic. See the weak point in this formation, then used the spirit to attack all points. Weakness causes the formation to disappear. Final. Tina told him to take the evil sword and raise it to the sky. When I woke up, I was very surprised when he saw that Lam was about to escape. The great karma that she worked so hard to plan. Lin now feels that her father chose the perfect match. Little Lan shouted to support Cho and Lam. He immediately launched the skybreaking one-sword move and created a pillar of light straight up into the sky. After a while, the punishment ended. The sky lit up and signaled that the great tribulation had passed. Tina flew out of Lam's chest and said she had one last task that she wanted to hand over to him. She said he had to go to the elemental country and find her. At this time, she told him to be serious because you can't fail this mission. Lam immediately agreed with her, and soon she also began to fade away. Lam shed tears when I saw the spots of light dissolving from Tina's body. A few weeks later, Lam wants to enjoy showbiz fans alone with Vuan, but he was constantly harassed by his friends dragging Theo. The spirit has accepted him as its master, but he didn't know how to exert their power. If you have a bad conscience, you will be arrested and charged. God of War system, it is no longer usable like before. But at RA he learned a lot of new jutsu. He also suffered from memory loss, but luckily he still couldn't forget Tina. The next day, Lam was sleeping when he was continuously called by Willow Tien. He thought it was an alarm, so he told the system to turn off the alarm for him, but then remembered that the RA spirit system was lost. He was then told by the great white man. Then I realized it was Lu Tien calling. You should take your phone and go. Daibok asked him to choose who among the 3 girls. Then you are an adult. You should choose both of them and record each other's words, and demanded to be blackmailed. The other person should turn around and fight. Then the whole school made an announcement that all students must come to the big square soon to focus on the summer practice trip. And Lam now showed Daibok the pile of sacred weapons. I risked my life to get it, but each one still refused to obey him. He tried to check out the 8 monster compass and it pinched his ear. When he touched the sword, it pointed at his face. Touch the nail and it will move. He entered the compass. His hand was stuck. Daibok saw another set of clothes over there. Then he realized that it was Dark Knight's magic weapon costume. This was originally left to Heaven, but it was here, so he took it and ran to find her. The two then sat down to play a few games, and Tien Willow said she didn't like it. That's why I leave it to you. But he didn't like wearing women's clothes, so she insisted. Before that, he also wore her brooches, but that case was different. Miss Cho thought he wasn't wearing it. You can also give it to Little Lan. Before leaving, she repaired the ring, so you can call her when you need her. He then went to look for Little Lan, but she also refused to accept him because she feels she is not suitable for this. She was determined to push him to leave and see you again in the big square. He then went to find the castle, and he asked him why he brought women's clothes here, even if it is a magic weapon. He knew he was in the wrong place, so he asked permission to turn away. But the member called him back and said, I know you want to wear it, but he was afraid and told him to wear it with peace of mind, because I won't laugh at you. but he brought it back to his room and posted it up. Look in the mirror and see if you should give it to Cho. AI now doesn't fit him because his legs are too long, but the Great White can see it and thought he was planning to try on clothes. Daibok promised not to tell anyone about this, but the flower on his head popped up and Cho said, he also saw you wearing it and even showed it to testify. Made him just want to dig a hole and crawl into it. He then had no choice but to find Su Van. He practiced his words before coming to meet her face to face, but he suddenly saw Su Van walking with little Lan, so I'm not in a hurry to show up. The two then separated and Su Van came in front of him to speak frankly that she will not accept a gift that people criticize, so he had no choice but to bring it to her. Ms. Cho said that if you want to give a gift, there must be sincerity and clarify the relationship between you and your opponent. What is given? He then became reluctant, so he turned back to look for little Lan and sincerely want to give you this gift, as if to thank Cho for what she did since he first came to the spirit world until I returned to the mortal world. She doesn't know what this thing haunts you about, but you just want to push it away. Then he said he was tempted by this thing, coax the HOA flower, then crawl up and show it to little Lan, causing her to accept the word and Lam very harshly. She then listened to Theo and Lam and put it on. Suddenly her body started to become strange. She has been promoted to realm level and get a pair of black wings. Looks very VIP. And Lam now suddenly turns his face. I want my shirt back, because we know it is a spirit that helps us reach new realms. But Ms. Cho thinks you want to wear it. From now on, both of you will become sisters, not friends anymore. Suddenly announced that they would depart in a few minutes. So when Lam wanted to go quickly, but little Lan flew and pulled him away. He wanted to go back to the dorm to get his things, but it was already late. But the sacred nail flew after him. The students are now just waiting. Each of Lam and Lan finished. Please wait a little longer, teacher, because the Kia too must be busy with something. The teacher then didn't wait any longer and left. Ms. Cho told us about this trip is to observe the battle of three true gods beyond the galaxy, and Lam and Lan also arrived at this time, but the two couldn't chase Theo in time because of little Lan's wing. I'm almost out of breath, but the teacher still didn't wait and continued because she was told by her teacher this trip will be dangerous for Lam, so she didn't want to let him. Theo and Lam and little Lan now tried to fly but couldn't, and Lam is worried that he will fail the class, but little Lan thinks that both of them can do social internships. In return, the internship location will be her family's sect. She wanted to create an opportunity for the two to get closer. He just agreed and wanted to return with her. Then suddenly Vong Huin ran away. He has learned a new move and wants to help Lam. He then put them both into a spirit ball, and then threw them both away with his spear. Both of them flew close to the sword. The teacher now remembered the second part of the fortune telling. That is, she must help students unite. Only then will Tai be cured. So she told the whole class, please try to help both of us earn money. For others too. Otherwise the sword will reach maximum speed, and the other two people will no longer be able to follow. The pellet created a pipeline to suck them both up. These other livelihoods have also helped add spiritual energy. But when we got close, little Lan could no longer fly, and started falling, but the force of attraction still keeps the two at a certain distance. And Lam remembers Ra's new move, and hugged the small Lan to release the cold to reach the tube. But at that moment, the divine weapon flew up. Create a portal for your hand to reach the pipe, and help both of them gain sword control. Teacher afterwards, show them where they are going on this trip. This is the first sacred land of the beast race. The head of the beast clan said, this is the primitive land of the ancient beastmen. Until 1,000 years ago, the human race dropped an ancient artifact in this place. And from there the two sides, beast and human race, were constantly fighting to win that artifact. And Lam saw, much like the story of the origins of war in the mortal world before, up to now, the beast race and the human race are still at war. The human race wants to exterminate the beast race, and at the same time show off their strength to other clans. As for the beast race, they borrow war to prevent internal conflicts from occurring. And Lam asked if the human race had ever lost. So far, I have played July 10th 3 times. Didn't participate because he was busy fighting with other sides. And Lam looked as if the human race was the villain. The beast race hates the human race to the core, and the beast clan chief decides this battle must come to an end soon. But we can't let the bodies pile up. Plus, the beast clan leader right now imparted the power to awaken this staff to find buried treasures. In this space, the staff gave him a choice between continuing to survive or take its power and destroy it all. He chose to take up the staff, and now he has his own army. That moment, the students on the sword ride still don't know anything, but is taking advantage of the singers to dance and sing until we arrived. When we arrived, the beast clan leader named Kia emitted a burst of energy that even in Lam on the sword also noticed. Staff let him know that it can find treasures, and in the next 3 days, he must practice a spell to hold the world in the palm of your hand. And in the meantime, the teacher asked the whole class to divide into RA teams to carry out survival. One night, everyone wondered, because I won't fight this time, I won't carry weapons. But the 4 captains she was about to choose were RA. Everyone will have the ability to lead and protect their team, so rest assured. The first is completion. I imported a batch of weapons, so AI needs to come pick it up. The second person is Tavan. She has a magic weapon ready to bring with her, so no need to worry. The third person is little Lan. She hopes and Lam is not captain number 4. And the teacher also named person number 4 as Wei Cat. Wei Cat stood up complacently because he also had a magic weapon, so it will protect the team members. Chulan was happy that Lam was able to join the team with her, but the teacher said yes, and Lam will go alone and act independently on this trip because Miss Cho thinks he is too strong. Everyone agreed, so the teacher told Cho, tomorrow they will return to the gathering point and report quantity and quality. Kill monsters to receive rewards. She then let everyone choose the team they wanted to join. Little Lam told Security Lam to rest assured because they both had locating charms. So don't worry. The teacher then told Lam to come down first, but he still doesn't know how to go to RASAO, so he was thrown down and bitter, then vowed to reach the realm like Little Lan, to be able to learn to fly. He then asked the system how. Then it asked him to go to the top of the 1,000-foot high mountain and jump down. He saw a rather high mountain peak over there, but right now, the sky was affected by magic from the Beast Clan leader Kia, but turns red. The teacher on the other side also suddenly realized the problem, so we built a barrier. The Beast Clan leader has appeared, and he shouted out a series of ultrasonic waves. The teacher couldn't hold the barrier for too long, so we were forced to rush to the assembly point with the whole class, and Lam now saw Kia's name and use magic to see and know that the word Kia is the key that must be solved. Suddenly, the chief Kia created a wave, bombard everything within range 6. Right when Lam was about to be hit by it, then the divine weapon helped him teleport in through that wave, and Lam then knew that Kia Mountain Peak was still the place to go. So run there with the nail, and the teacher couldn't keep it anymore, which caused the entire sword to tilt and made the students fall off their swords. She had to use all her strength to create the barrier, to bring everyone to land, safe but the name of the Kia clan leader. Now I have found the secret of the treasure, and called tons of demon insects to the surface, and Lam was then attacked by a group of ghost insects, causing him to lose the locator charm, and with the teacher, the demon worms came to bite the barrier that the whole class built together. So it's like the AIs that ran out of spiritual energy all fell first. The teacher knew this was a disaster that the fortune teller RA. So I decided to use my own life to keep the barrier. Everyone wants to help the teacher, so the member has taken all the hot goods out for those who run out of spiritual energy to use. But season 1 of the show is temporarily ending here. The movie currently has no part 2, so we will update soon. If the movie is released now, then goodbye.